Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Snakebite. Unfamiliar face for some here with 𝙃𝙀 𝙎𝙉𝘼, but he does the mock minute for us on Instagram. Make sure to check us out there. He does a great job with that, and he'll do a great job today replacing Gavin Coker for now. He's a little under the weather, but let's get back to some sports. Florida Southern has been busy this last week. Spring sports time right now, and there is a lot to cover. And we got to start this show off with just one question. JC, what even is an Argonaut?
You'll have to tell me, Carl.
And the baseball team figured out what an Argonaut was early this year in their season opening series against the University of West Florida, where their new head coach, Rick Odette, beat the number 14 West Florida team 2-1 in the opening series. Opening day on Friday saw stellar pitching and hitting for the Mocs as they shut out the Argos and won 7-0. Socham Ramos set the tone for the pitching staff as they went 5 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts while only allowing 2 hits. He was able to pitch confidently as the Mocs batters tallied 12 hits with 5 multi-hit performances from Florida Southern. The Argos would tie the series on Saturday as they held down a late rally by the Mocs in a 10-7 win over Florida Southern. In the Sunday rubber match, the Mocs jumped out to an early 8-1 lead by the 5th inning thanks to a 3 RBI effort from preseason All-Region team member Mikey Scott. The Argos battled back, scoring 6 in the 6th, but cut the lead to 8-7. Roshan Riley responded, though, with a 2 RBI double in the 8th, giving the Mocs the insurance they needed to pull off the 10-7 win. The baseball team will be back in action this weekend, hosting a 3-game series against Georgia Southwestern State.
The number 17 men's basketball team is coming off another SSC Classic. See what I did there? With the Mocs and Spartans scoring the most points ever in the 167-game history between these two schools, with 125 points each before overtime. The Mocs struggled early, with the Spartans having their way the entire first half, scoring 63 points to the Mocs 47. The Mocs starters couldn't get much the rest in this one, with Tampa's siege of the paint and dominance on the offensive glass, pushing the starting bigs to their limit against the top offensive rebounding team in the country. The physicality down low led to some foul trouble for both Alex Steen and Peyton Gerald, who both ended up fouling out in this one. Luckily for them, the rest of the guys stepped up, with future 2-time All-American Jaden Booth leading the charge against the Spartans with 34 points, 14 assists, and 8 rebounds. But he wasn't the only one, with Joe Moon IV providing huge buckets late as he went perfect from the field and hit clutch free throws to send it to overtime in his 19-point performance. And the unsung hero on the stat sheet, and at times during this season, Amari Miller showed up huge for the Mocs, playing the 5 for the final portions of the 4th and the entire overtime period. Miller was a force down low with 4 blocks in the 129-125 Moccasin victory. They'll return to play tomorrow at Eckerd on the SSC Digital Network. This team can be special.
The women's basketball team had yet another nail-biter end to an in-conference game when they took on the number 17 nationally ranked University of Tampa Spartans. Throughout the game, the Mocs showed their depth with major contributions from the bench throughout the game. Unfortunately, though, the Mocs defense stumbled at points, allowing the Spartans to go on major runs to end the second and start the third quarter, putting the Mocs in a major hole. The comeback kids nearly climbed all the way back thanks to huge makes from Sydney Gomes, who led the team with 21 points and 7 assists, helping the Mocs climb back throughout the game. And she had support in the minutes that Lily Pereira was on the floor, as she scored a career-high 15 on perfect shooting, but due to late defensive lapses by the Mocs, Tampa made a game-winning mid-range jumper with just seconds remaining to squash the Mocs' hopes of an upset in the hard-fought game. The Mocs return to action tomorrow night at Eckerd, and the game will be found on the SSC Digital Network.
The 16th ranked men's swim team closed out the regular season with a dominant victory over 20th ranked Rollins College, 170-92 on senior day. The Mocs had multiple individuals and relay teams find their way in the top 3 against the Tars, in the dominant meet win. The 24th ranked women's swim team saw similar success in their 172-89 victory over the Tars, where Sam Hunter had a dominant showing, earning herself SSC Swimmer of the Week honors. The Mocs will have a week off as they prepare for the SSC Championships on February 12th through the 16th in Ocala.
The softball team opened up their season against Georgia Southwestern State at home. In the first game, the Mocs struggled to get the rust off their bats, accumulating only 2 hits and ultimately losing despite a strong start to the game from Ella Torres. Torres' start was her first since February in her freshman year, which was last year, and the Mocs looked to be in the game until a 3-run 6th inning closed the door on the Mocs' chances to come back. In the loss, Torres posted a career-high 6 strikeouts, with the Mocs looking to bounce back in the second game of the doubleheader, led by a freshman pitcher, 𝙏𝙃𝙀, in the pitcher circle, and they did thanks to a promising showing from her. The freshman 𝙏𝙃𝙀 dominated in her freshman debut, striking out the Hurricanes 6 times in her complete game shutout, where she allowed just 3 hits. She also received crucial run support in the 4th and 5th, where the Mocs scored 2 runs in each inning, kicking off the scoring with a 2-run RBI.
The number 17 men's lacrosse team was tested early as they opened their season against the number 4th ranked Limestone University. The Mocs controlled the face-off battle, winning 17 of 26 attempts, with 𝙏𝙃𝙀 winning 15 face-offs. Scoring was back and forth in the early first half, with multiple Mocs scoring early. Coming out of the half, the Mocs struggled offensively as they were kept scoreless in the third, with Limestone putting up 5 goals, giving them a 10-4 lead heading into the final frame. The Mocs attempted to battle back in the final quarter, but it was too little, too late for the Mocs, as the Saints' big third period was the difference, with the Mocs falling in this one 14-8 in the season opener. Tune in to the SSC Digital Network as the Mocs look to go against number 5 Wingate on February 8th, with SSC Specialist of the Week 𝙏𝙃𝙀 looking to continue to dominate in face-off after winning 15 last week against Limestone.
The number 3 nationally ranked women's lacrosse team will begin their season at home against number 8 Flagler College. The Mocs are selected to finish second in the SSC preseason poll to last year's SSC and national champions, University of Tampa Spartans. The Mocs will be tested early and often with a tough regional schedule to open up the season, after Flagler taking on number 19 St. Leo and number 14 Anderson. Be sure to tune into the SSC Digital Network as the Mocs kick off an exciting season on February 7th.
The Florida Southern beach volleyball team swept their matches against Warner University and Polk State College to open up their 2025 season this past weekend. Haley Carefoot and Regan Carlton and Haley St. Martin and Mary Olivia Moody led the Mocs to a 4-1 victory over Warner with straight set wins. In the match against Polk State, pairs Sydney Melcher and Nicole Eden dominated both of their sets to finish with a win. The dominant performances by Carefoot and Carlton earned them their first ever Beach Volleyball Pair of the Week award. Beach Volleyball will return to action against Palm Beach State and Palm Beach Atlantic on Saturday.
And huge shouts out to the beach volleyball team, the first ever weekly award for that, as it's the first year with that sport. But now let's talk about some men's tennis. The men's tennis team will return to action soon, with the number 13 team in the country opening up their season tomorrow afternoon against number 3 St. Leo. As it always is in the SSC, the Mocs will have a tough road ahead with a number of nationally ranked opponents on the schedule. One of our contributors, Tian Ho, was able to talk to men's tennis coach Rhett Rollison to preview the season. You can find that and results from the competitions on fscmocs.com.
The women's tennis team hosted St. Pete College and number 7 Flagler College for the 3rd annual FSC Invite this past weekend. The women dominated in doubles play with 9 wins over the 2-day competition. The Mocs also found success in singles play with 15 wins. The ladies will look to conference play as they will host St. Leo University on February 11th at the Winnie Warden Tennis Center.
And this past weekend was a busy one for the indoor track teams, with runners at 2 different meets in 2 different states on 3 different days. To start off the weekend, some of the women's track team traveled up to Boston University to compete in the John Thomas Terrier Classic. Senior Emma Moose Musante continued breaking her own school records, running 10:01 in the 3K, besting her previous record by just a second. Grad student Ellie Fluman also competed, but in the 5K, coming in at 17:55, the third best time in indoor history. Then on Saturday, the men's team had their turn, with junior Anthony Matthews starting off strong once again, besting his own school record time in the mile, running 4:07. In the 3K, junior Christopher Colavita ran the third best time in the event, coming in at 8:24, with Matthew falling quickly behind in 8:31, the seventh best time in school history. Junior Christian Giller also finished out the night for the Mocs, running a time of 14:19, marking the third best time in program history, behind only two of his own times. On Sunday, the rest of the women's and men's teams competed up in Gainesville at the Legends of Alachua County Invitational. In the 3K, junior Rachel the Hawk Hockenberry ran a time of 10:29 and the eighth fastest indoor 3K time in school history, with fellow junior Caleb Brady running the distance in 8:40 for the men. Both the men's and women's track teams will travel back to Gainesville this weekend to the Celebration Point Indoor Classic. And that'll be a wrap for this week's edition of the Snakebite. Thank you for watching it. A lot to cover this week, and there'll be a lot more to cover next week, so make sure to tune into that.